Hey there. Today we're diving into a topic that might be a bit controversial: why it's better for an agency to split production and post-production between different people or teams. This might seem counterintuitive, and yes, we might be a bit biased, but hear me out. Based on our experience working with other videographers and filmmakers' footage over the last decade, we found some pretty compelling advantages in terms of speed, quality, and overall enjoyment of the work. So keep an open mind and humor our perspective on this subject. I'm excited to share our hot take with you. If you're an agency that creates a large volume of repeat work for an established book of clients, then you already know how important it is to deliver a consistent product and experience. Throw a rotating cast of vendors, and the challenge to check the reliability box just got a lot harder. We might be biased, but if we had to choose one aspect of the video production process to remain consistent, either production or post-production, it's safer and more efficient to keep the post-production team constant and rotate the videographers who capture the footage. With a consistent post team, you can more safely fix it in post to smooth over inconsistencies during production. But there's a very important twist involved: bringing the post-production team into the pre-production discussion so that you can actually fix it in pre, by aligning everyone's understanding of what success looks like from the very beginning of a project. Plus, a dedicated post team can keep track of brand standards per client. For us, we create style guides that document not only the brand guidelines of the end client, but also nuances of what worked from previous projects, more specific style details, and elements that the agency has added to further ensure a consistent and reliable experience for end clients. Of course, collaboration and communication are key. Separating production and post introduces another voice into the conversation. And while that often results in the benefit of an expert sounding board, it also means another margin of error to the overall equation of video production. Early and ongoing cross-team collaboration between the agency, production, and post teams is essential for project success. Start the conversation between all three parties early in the process to ensure a project is scoped and quoted accurately. Check out our consultation page to see how we aim to bring value to a project well before the first cut is made. Even though post-production is last in the process, it should never be an afterthought. Next, let's look at the increased capacity of work. Dividing production and post-production tasks can allow for a more efficient use of resources and time. Videographers who love shooting are typically eager to book that next shoot, but editing can often be seen as a necessary evil. By splitting the work, you can reward that enthusiasm and fill up your videographer's schedule without fear of generating an editing backlog. This boosts your agency's capacity without sacrificing quality. For instance, our friends over at 226 Collective are constantly on the go, shooting resort properties around the world. By partnering with us for post-production, they can travel the globe while we handle the dozens of deliverables needed from each shoot. A close cousin to capacity is turnaround, and you can actually get it quicker by splitting off post from production. This might seem especially counterintuitive, since we've always heard the viewpoint that videographers know the footage best because they shot it. But an editor with a solid intake process can quickly get up to speed. Plus, when organizing footage, editors often group content in ways that make sense for the story, which might be in contrast to how it was actually shot. Organization of the media within a project file is key for quicker editing speed. But when someone doesn't enjoy that tedious intake process, it's often the first thing to go. Instead, all the media may be dumped into one big general bucket or bin that requires continuous digging through whenever a clip is needed. If an editor enjoys organizing and sifting through footage at the beginning of a project, they'll ultimately work faster than someone who views that as a chore. Additionally, a separate, dedicated post team means booking another video project won't delay editing the previous one. Finally, let's talk about different skill sets and interests. As disciplines, production and post-production require vast and distinctly different skill sets and techniques. On the production side, videographers play with elements like composition, depth of field, and lighting, whereas an editor's toolbox includes things like pacing, shot order, and speed manipulation. That's without even venturing out into other post-production disciplines like color grading, audio mixing, or animation, or other production elements like audio capture, stabilization, or recording formats. That's a lot of technical knowledge to stay on top of. And while it's not impossible, and many people are interested in multiple facets of video production, the introduction of AI is growing the tool list exponentially, especially on the post-production side. Newer AI-based tools like CapCut, Descript, and Capwing are introducing technical abilities beyond what's already available with long-standing, more traditional NLEs, or non-linear editing software options like Adobe Premiere, DaVinci Resolve, or Final Cut Pro. Now, there may not necessarily be enough of a tie between personality types and production versus post to say all extroverts like production or all editors are introverts. But there is something to say whether someone thrives off being in the moment as an action is unfolding, or if they'd rather spend their time more detail-oriented behind the scenes. Either way, when each person or team focuses on what they do best and enjoy most, it leads to a higher quality end result. Production teams can concentrate on capturing the best footage with the strongest content, and post-production teams can focus on perfecting the edit and arranging that footage to bring out its true potential. When achieving a flow state or operating with passion and inspiration are the keys to job performance, it's important to foster a culture of enjoyment and fulfillment. Dividing the roles of video production in this way can allow team members to primarily take on tasks that suit their preferred work styles, without being dragged into responsibilities or situations that don't spark joy. Aside from simply operating within their strengths, editors kept out of production offer another secret advantage. Separate, dedicated editors bring an objective viewpoint to the footage, seeing it for what it is and how it works within the overall video. This mirrors the audience's perspective, since they also weren't on site during production. Videographers editing their own footage might be inclined to include shots that were challenging or took a long time to capture. But editors who didn't experience those challenges won't include shots that don't serve the story. This perspective helps keep the audience's experience paramount in all editing decisions. In conclusion, splitting production and post-production tasks can lead to higher quality, increased capacity, quicker turnarounds, greater consistency, and more enjoyment for everyone involved. If you're interested but nervous to give it a shot, reach out. We'd be happy to talk about it further. Also, check out our How to Budget for Post resource that I've linked in the description below. There, you can check out how different project variables affect a video's post-production budget. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.